Hi, my friends. My name is Trey. I'm here to talk to you today about something that has been very near and dear to my healing path and process. Even the codependency I'm not ready to fully let go of. And that is cannabis addiction versus ritual Ganja alchemy. You know, it can be a very dangerous thing if it's done to overindulgence, the chronic user, the abuser of Ganja versus the person that respects her in a ceremony or uses it as needed for illness and repair, etc. But as an aphrodisiac, a plant medicine, as a natural organic substance that has my friend David Bliss once said, it's the most mentally addictive thing. He's been hooked on many things, and yeah, because it's not physically addictive, he said it's the most mentally addictive thing. So I would say that there was once an era when I had this dream that so many have, that I was going to grow a huge crop of cannabis in Northern California or somewheres over there. But yeah, I'm sitting in one of the few parts of it where anyone can afford to be enough to. Then I find yesterday, after I took off this app that I think was giving me diseases that gave me my volume control 1.5 or 150%, 200% volume, then my phone is screaming, "This is the sheriff's, you're ordered to leave." Maybe because I haven't smoked, and that I don't have a daily usage, or I was going every other day for a while, which is better than, well, that still kind of prevents your dream cycle. Yeah, so that's the thing, is that I like dreaming. That's what I discovered, that even if they're creepy or crazy, since I'm a person that is interested in doing the shadow work to repair my psyche, and I studied books. Castaneda wrote a book called The Art of Dreaming, and I think I read several other books on that kind of thing. The Tibetans have a thing called dream yoga. So yeah, I really don't like that it prevents you from dreaming, but yeah, there's a lot of medicinal aspects, and I would take CBD anyway, because it's antipsychotic. It kills the C temporarily, relaxes you, and all that. So it's very it's a dual-edged sword, though, like any tool, because we can become very mentally addicted. So I do have to say, I feel that I got over the addiction, because I seriously consider to completely give it up, entirely. Many of those other days, but I find that lately my ritual or my routine, whatever you want to call it, has been to smoke or get high once a week. Maybe I'll go twice a week because I'm on vacation here. But it's just it's a challenge to concentrate on all the details. Like I would always tell stoners, don't forget to check for your keys 3 times. For me, but I left my bicycle key at the shower at by the lighthouse and on the rock. So I was at the Staff Alive Market. I locked up my bike, and then the manager was like my friend, and I said, "Hey, do you have a bolt cutter?" And he went and looked and said, "No, you don't have one." So I just had a cheap lock on there, but I was like, "Fuck!" So then they told me to leave the back gate open at night. So I took the bus, and it was like the spirit of Santa Cruz was helping me. The bus came right exactly when I was running there to get it, and then 2 buses, and then I had to run along West Cliff for a couple miles, and then I got there and my key was sitting on the rock. So yeah, that's a pretty great example of an attempted loose feeding extravaganza of crazy lower frequency emotions, but I tried to make the most of it and get some exercise. And so yeah, of course you get way higher in that way, but it's just, I don't like addiction. It's what it is. And the main thing is that I conquered the addiction. I don't like addiction. I don't want to be addicted to anything, man. The only thing I'm addicted to is this trauma bond with the behemoth that you're looking at. I try to make peace, but the beast wants to make war. The machine itself, the competitive attention machine. So thank you. If you haven't already, man, just subscribe, give me a thumbs up and comments. Love, respect, peace. Respect the work. Love yourself somehow, even in the psychological hell realms that you're probably going through if you're in this place, right? But this guy, he did have the addiction to the age as a young rock star, like a lot of them. I mean, he was playing with Miles Davis when he was in his 20s, I think, and which I don't blame Miles for choosing him. I mean, I've seen him in concert a few times. This is MSMW, Medeski, Martin, Schofield, and Wood, the great. Oh man, some Yankee Jews and German guys that can blow my mind, with their musical skills. One of them's an Irish dude, Wood. Yeah, they can blow my mind with whether they use drugs or not. I try to look past that. But if they're into ritual abuse or any of that kind of stuff, or their lyrics have that kind of thing in it, I don't like it, But which is interesting that one of the catchiest songs that band Space Heater had was when they're singing "Payday, I feel alright. Payday, I feel alright." So yeah, I mean, I'm really thankful for it. I mean, if you look at my first, I don't know what it was, 500 videos or whatever that I was using. I always pay respects to the Ganja, the cannabis spirit, the divinity that I feel like the Christ Sophia gave it. It says in the Bible. I mean, I agree with some of the things it says in the Bible, and not all of them. But of course, but the plant-bearing seeds would be our medicine and food, or something like that, and so. But then again, you could say that psilocybin was given to us by the Anunnaki or Christ Sophia or the good or some kind of ETs, man. They're giving it to us, and because a lot of people believe that psilocybin is an ET itself, and that when you think about it, when it came with animal husbandry, taking care of cows to kill them for meat or for taking their milk. It came with animal husbandry, man. Like when we had the cow shit, then we get shrooms. And so it's and then I was really proud. I don't want to say proud. I was really thankful to see that this former environmental studies teacher at UCSC that had a haircut just like the one I have, except he's got dreads, but he gets it about just like this on the side. a fat melanin rich politician named Justin Cummings. And he took a knee with the head sheriff in 2020. But the thing is also that head sheriff, Andy Mills, he gave money to homeless people to live in these storage containers, and or he supported this program that them to live give a key to these people that were just unhoused in Humboldt County when he worked there, and for like a year. It was like a year for $1 or whatever, something like that kind of deal. But when he came to Santa Cruz, it was kind of funny. He would walk around, and he got a call to the library because somebody was sleeping in the library. So he went in the library and reprimanded the librarian that called him, instead of waking the person up. He said, people need to sleep to make good decisions, man. It's one of the reasons why I'm offended by the Greyhound, and the Hellhound company, that they have to extract so much loosh and make you get up out of the bus at 2 a.m. and just go on days without sleep to ride on there. It's kind of harsh. It's kind of makes me want to go back and get a fake a digital ID or a passport, because it's just so obnoxious. And Amtrak it takes days, and it's expensive now unless you go get the ticket way ahead advance. But yeah, so the way I'm at it now, where I'm at with it now, is that I consider ganja to be a ritual, sacred ritual medicine I use like about once a week. Like before I'm going to a concert or do a meditation or to focus my creative and intellectual or my spiritual energy into a place. I tried to use it to relax before I got on the bus and the Amtrak train to come here to Bakersfield the other day, and I slept for 1 hour. Because my tolerance was so low to ganja that smoking a bowl, and you know what? They sprayed this heavy fucking crazy June gloom, ice cold bog right when I had on my fucking shorts and a t-shirt, and I was going out to the beach to go jump in the ocean or lay on the beach with all the hot graduate students when they're partying after they graduated. And you know what? This huge white cold bog just blew in right when I got done with my laundry, man. And I'm like, psh. So I still went in the ice moss along West Cliff and smoked a bowl right after I ran into Lyle, the guy that I highly recommend if you're into the truth, about the hardcore brutal truth about the Illuminati, Rockefeller, and all that kind of stuff. The history that he did one long form Brave and Free meeting about geoengineering. It's on my Odyssey.com channel. There's a link to it if you go below in the channel description. And on my Odyssey.com, I have his other long form one was about the population, how he felt that they want to decrease the population in all these different ways, and he has one of the Rockefellers on there talking about it, yeah, it was. I'm like, this might get flagged for mentioning that. See, because it's like they don't want me to talk about that, man. It's just, I'm not saying I agree with it. That's just because, well, you see for yourself if this is still there. I mean, whatever. Like, I didn't say anything. It's just, it's a known fact. I mean, if you look at Bill Gates' 2010 TED Talk, if you look at the Georgia Guidestones that got blown up. Well, why did it get blown up? Well, because what people call the white hats have direct energy weapons too, man. So, like, that's my opinion. All that's my opinion. I don't know. I don't think somebody who was evil blew it up, but I think that, yeah, it might have been somebody in the military who was on the side of good and truth that hated the evil. What they call the white hats, like, that just blew up that Georgia Guidestone that said that they have to lower the population to. They say it's a divine. They believe it's something that I think Yahweh tells them. It's they believe they have to keep it, just like the Jews and Muslims have to fight each other to the death forever in this jihad, this spiritual religious war, and they worship the same God, the same symbol, the black cube. These Hasidic rabbis. I saw a young guy like in his 20s, like with the curl and the side and in the JFK airport in New York City, man, and he didn't see me because he was looking into his cell phone, real strongly looking into it, and but he had, I couldn't believe it, man, right there in public, man, he had a fucking black cube strapped to his third eye right there, man. It's a certain kind of Jewish rabbi, and it's like a sacred. My friend who's half Jewish told me it's like a sacred parchment that it says some rules or something they believe in, and they put it in there. Some kind of controlled script that Yahweh or whoever put in there, and it's intense, man. And then in Mecca they circle around that black cube. I think it's counterclockwise. They circle around that cube, man. Thousands of devotees. And I always look at that cube and I think about what's inside that, man. Like, it's got a big door with gold, like, and I had that dream that I was being surrounded by the fucking Nephilim, man. My space brothers, that they told me they helped to build the Matrix, man. That they're trying to get me to trust them, and other ones apparently were pinching me and stuff. You can check out I made a dream log of it. I just recorded it on my cell phone at 2 a.m. right after it happened, because I never had a dream like that. And it was like they're trying to intimidate me, but then they're trying to make friends, and like, how people channel spirits and all, and Archangel Michael and all that, and they're trying to make friends with me. And it was really trippy, man. But like, the thing is that of it. Let me tell you the truth. I wasn't terribly afraid. I was annoyed. I was irritated because it's like they were surrounding me, trying to tell me stuff. And finally, they got to the point where they're like telling me, "Man, we know your world is really fucked up right now, and we see that you made all these videos and these hundreds of videos about the truth and from your perspective, and we want to help you, man. We want you to channel us, man, and call on our names. We're on your side, and we're here to help you. And because you know what, we feel guilty. We helped to build this fucking slavery system, and we feel guilty about that, man. But these guys were like 20 feet tall, 17, 20 feet tall, and so I wasn't a little intimidated, but I was more annoyed, like, because they were kind of trying to push me around. And you can check the dream log. It's kind of really strange. It's the weirdest video I ever made, probably. Like, so then, like, I think some time elapsed or in that whatever dimension I was in. Or it seemed like the place I was in seemed really super familiar. And that's the other thing. They all seem really fucking familiar, man. Like, I knew these Nephilim. Like, they're fucking. It was like I knew them for so long, man, that I just. It's like my sibling or something. It's like they were really annoying, because they were very trying to push me around and stuff, but like trying to be loving at the same. On the other hand, and some of them, and I don't know how many. It was like 6 or something like that. Like a couple. Like, and then I remember like it kind of. They realized they're not going to get me to trust them, and like that, that I was trying to reason with them, but to give them empathy, and they were trying to give me empathy, really, to be honest with you. That's what they want me to think, And so then, but they were coercive, of course, like fucking with all the genetics they have, man, And then so then I was like, I kind of walked a little ways, I think. And, it's kind of come back to me now over the week since I had that dream. I couldn't remember that many details at first, but. So then I think what happened is that I looked up and there was another being there. It was like 15, 20 foot tall with a white robe on. Okay? White robe. Long brown hair and a big brown beard. And it looked to be about 30 years old. 33 years old. Okay? But instead of a face, like, all I could see was a see-through. It looked like a see-through glass with like orange flames, like moving light orange fire, like a moving fire. And but it was see-through. Like I could see through it to the other, what was behind it, like completely see-through, completely translucent, like completely clear. Like the Buddhists have something they call the clear light. You know what, folks? I think it was Yeshua or Jesus the Christ. I think it was his ascended form, and he was not being coercive to me at all, like not pushy at all, like all those other giants. Okay, and so I don't remember what happened, what I said to him, but like I just thought it was, I don't know. I think I was just, you know what? I was just kind of like shocked and impressed at how cool his face was. I was just like, upon first seeing him, it was just so kind of moving, really, just shockingly moving to see how pure his energy was, and his face just was fucking totally clear, see-through, but it was a living fire. And when I think about it, over the whatever it's been, a month since that happened, I think it was Jesus Christ, Yeshua, man. It was, you know, like, cause like he was there, but he wasn't there. You know, he wasn't like he was one of them by blood, but he wasn't one of them. You know what I mean? Like he wasn't evil. He wasn't full of shit. He wasn't a scumbag. He was just a respectful, like. And I mean, I've had friends, like it's one friend that used to press hash, and speaking, going back to what I began talking about, and yeah, this lady got her eye taken out in an accident, and she kind of looked like that guy in the movie, the one eye, bug eye. She kept the patch on, and this melanin rich lady on the Amtrak yesterday, day before yesterday, she had a dog with her, a cute puppy, and I told her about, the story about how the Creekside Collective in Boulder Creek, how Jeffrey, the owner, he came from Utah, Capricorn, and he was running this cannabis shop. Nice guy, and they try to always give me the best deals they could, and as a friend, you know, kind of, and but. After they were open a few years, and Boulder Creek's kind of a rough town on occasion, you know, and so he got a puppy that was a healer, and that's probably when I realized, I probably knew before then, but that's when I really realized it's totally my favorite breed of dogs, because on my totem pole, I'd say I have a coyote. Definitely a coyote on my totem pole, if I did my totem pole, and so the what they call a healer dogs are they're a mixture of a fucking dog and Australian coyote. It's called dingo, Australian coyote. And so since I'm part dingo, as it were, I fucking love those dogs. I wouldn't have sex with any canines or cats, but man, when I was a teenager, there was one. Oh man, this isn't a on occasion, I still have to remind myself after 700 transmissions that this isn't a confessional or a victim party, but I try to teach what I've learned. And so anyways, one day I was there, and for some reason this guy was there. His name is Patrick, and he's definitely got that blood of, you know, he's 8 foot tall, over 8 feet tall. I've never met anyone, okay? I saw the movie The Princess Bride, however, when I was in my single digits, you know. Might have seen it in the movie theater. And we used to see all kinds of great stuff like the Star Wars movies in the movie theater, you know. And I remember seeing Andre the Giant. Or one of my friends as a teenager was in love with it. Was a cult classic kind of movie, you know. So it wasn't until I moved out here to the state of California over 22 years ago that I actually... So I had friends. This other one was this guy named Herman in Boulder Creek. And one day I just bought some weed at that store, and... I was doing my laundry, and he said, "Oh, you need some weed?" I'm like, "Nah, well, I just got some." He's like, "Well, I'll give you some weed." And he gave me an eighth of weed, and he didn't want anything. And he told me he didn't use anything to grow it. I'm like, "What?" So it was really not strong in the THC content. You know what I mean? Like you'd have to press it to into some rosin to really get a buzz, probably, if you're really a stoner like I was. You know, it might work for me now. But later on, he gave me a nug that was 7 grams, I think, and he told me that he didn't need any money for it because another day that happened like a few weeks later. He said he didn't need any money for it because he used only the ash. He admitted to something. His nutrient was the ash from an oak tree fire and water. And I grew my blue potatoes with nothing but water and piss. I mean, I pour piss like 3, maybe 3.5 feet away from the plant so that it wouldn't be, because I unfortunately learned the stupid way not to pour it any closer than that. But so that some of the nutrients in my piss and the water itself can still get in the roots. And then I would take my shaft. What it really was is I would take my shaft on the very close to my potato plant, so that it's which is where I'd bring a gallon of fresh creek water up to almost a boil and dump it on myself. This is what I was doing when I didn't go to that shower truck, and I just getting the wonderful sun baths every morning before 10 until several days, or a day or two before I embarked to come down here. The dreaded June gloom came back, you know. But the spray gray, ice cold. So, you know, I've really had a lot of fun with cannabis. I played music with reggae DJs in Santa Cruz, California for over 10 years. Often with my friend Rashawn on the mic. He would be for maybe 10, 15 minutes out of the night or so. He'd be rapping on the mic. And I would play my melodica unplugged, you know. Sometimes I'd go up to the mic with reggae DJs, and it would just sound like they turned up the trebles a little bit, you know. I didn't step on their toes, as it were. So about 90% of the DJs that would play these free events, they'd have at restaurants, nightclubs, at coffee shops, tea houses, and there's one place called the Earth Belly Cafe. A Jewish hippie guy was on Monday night. It was kind of crescendo when I was 40, solar returns, 40 years old, and man, I had the only fucking lucid dream I've had ever, probably, where I was. Well, I don't even think I was in control of it then, really. But yeah, the cannabis can block your dreams, and so for me and most people that, you know, as much as I would toke it. So anyway, I went a week without it. I think it was 2017. And I was around that same era when I was around. Before when I was around 40, and I went a week without ganja doing a tolerance break. I would always do tolerance breaks. I used to get my prescription before, when it was only legal for medical here in the state of California, and I went to this one Dr. Weaver, an MD, and he said, when I renewed my ganja prescription, he said, always take a month off every year. And when I did that this year, I kind of decided I just don't like the addiction, the money, the amount of money I would spend on it. I feel like I need it to regulate my mood. Okay, when I obeyed when I took Dr. Jack Cruz's prescription to get early morning sunshine, that to me is the key to the whole regulating my mood, keeping my health good. You know, Thank you.
¿Necesita papel?
Thank you. Man, I think she was asking me for a tip, but I don't speak Spanish. Man, I think I would have given her a tip if I spoke Spanish, man. To be honest, that's my excuse at least. And so yeah, man, one time this same friend of mine and his other friend, the second time I saw Lee Scratch Perry in Santa Cruz, The first was in the big room of the catalyst, and the second was in the atrium of the catalyst when he was like 85, 86. And doing calisthenics on the stage, telling people, don't get old, stay fresh. And I mean, I consider him, if I believed in gurus, I'd consider him my root guru, but I do not believe in gurus. I'm my own guru, Guru. I'm here to help you help yourself. I'm here to serve your awakening to the truth that the divinity is within, but only if you have respect and discernment and ideally peace, harmlessness, at least relatively. I mean, we got to, steal eggs, placenta from these chickens and drink the milk from these cows or goats for our brains to be healthy, if not cut the heads off some fish and eat them for our brains to be healthy. So it's kind of hardcore. I mean, the thing is, I've never said that the false self-gods, Lucifer, the devil, the archons, the Aldebaoth, or whatever you want to call it, is not skilled at its jobs and how they hybridize us with their thoughts and forced our brains to need cholesterol to be healthy because they hybridize whatever their blood demanding Anunnaki, whatever their genetics that they needed to consume other animal parts, because that's how the Anunnaki are. That's how the whatever species that we're hybridized with are. And yeah, they have way better mathematical cognition than the Neanderthal. But what's funny is I was watching the Typical Skeptic podcast the other day. I watched when some guest I really like, and Dr. Karen, I think her name, yeah, the clan mother, Karen McDonald. She's talking about savage. I'll be right back. This is another health secret. When you drink the good water. And so she said, yeah, Dr. Jack Cruz moved down to El Salvador. And I put up, she mentioned what I said in the comments on the live stream about that he says, you savages. He calls himself and his followers savages, man. Why does he say we're savages? And she said it had something to do with being wild and, taking care of yourself in the wild or something like that. That being able to be self-sovereign from the man, it means that you don't need the abusive system to push you around because you're taking care of yourself, So yeah, I mean, it's weird. What's interesting is his mom he grew up on welfare in New York City. His mom was poor, but his IQ is probably like a 200 and something, and just he's definitely a polymath. But when he said to get sunlight before 10 a.m., I was just like, it was just I was at my brother's house already taking morning sun baths. I knew it was a central thing, but what he said is it helps to heal your mitochondria, and he'll tell people to wake up and do the naked sphinx. That's what I would do in Santa Cruz when I could is get the sun where the sun don't shine every morning, and so you could say this is Ganja church ritual service. But I don't prescribe to being chronically addicted to daily usage for myself, because it's harmful to my dream body. I'll never remember my dreams. I'll never be able to feel like that I'm not an addict. I might even give up coffee at a certain point. But I have actually, when I was in my 30s doing a fast and a cleanse, and I gave up coffee for 5 days or a week, but then I did a coffee enema. So man, I've been pretty into hardcore testing my body because trying to heal my body for for 20 years, and seriously. So it's just, or more seriously for 15, but not really. I mean, just maybe more seriously for 10, since I was 30, since I had 38 solar returns, yeah. Because I drank beer up until almost in there. And I had the similar thing I did with beer, where I drank it one year because I thought I was in love with this girl, and I was so angry at myself for it. Actually, was my excuse. She was nearby, but I couldn't be with her, and it offended. I was so offended at myself that I would drink an organic or a kombucha, organic alcohol kombucha, and I don't know if it was every day. It might have been. But then I switched it to one only on my birthday, Christmas, New Year's, and so this year when I took a month off, and you know what? By golly, spending most of that, all of it in the tent, or actually, no, I had a teepee up then. I was insulated. I can't blame it on that. But yeah, I was breathing in. Everyone, you going outside, you're breathing it in, and I was breathing in that geoengineering and geoengineered air and whatever was in that. And it, you know what? I had quit taking nattokinase for a couple of moons. Thought, I've been taking that for so long, and some of my benign intestinal tumors got turbo cancers, and then it was so fucking bad it got in my bones, and it gave me extreme pain to sit up, just to sit up or turn my body. And I was like, well, I'm going to go back to being a ganja stoner, and because that is keeping all that at bay and making the pain go away. And then, so I went back to my ganja alchemy routine, as it were, that I would do every day for like 15 years, and smoked some hash and a bowl of weed, and after I took a tincture or whatever, and I was so high. I remember I was in Aptos, and I was so high that I got paranoid for the first time with cannabis in like 30 fucking years, since I was like 16 years old or 17 years old. I felt like this weird sense of paranoia, and like, so today I didn't really get it today. If I go with indica, if I go with indica heavy stuff, it doesn't. But yeah, it's just, what happened is the Ganjika, or the cannabis spirit, it told me, you know what? You don't need me. I'm not sure if it said that or that's what I was thinking. I don't need you. But what you need is to go back on that nattokinase. And I went back on the nattokinase, and that pain all went away in a couple days, man. And so the thing of it is that cannabis is a very powerful medicine, and you just have to respect that. If you don't, it can really sting you. If you have tendencies to the cluster B spectrum, if you grew up in a narcissistic, abusive household, or etc., it can press its fingers right. In the end of days, I built my channel on the part of my, I don't know whether it's real or false self-confidence. There it is. One of the things I don't like about it, beside the addiction, is the codependency. That I cannot ever say whether I was self-confident or that was the weed, the cannabis, the ganja was making me feel self-confident all for the last 25, 30 years or whatever. Like, so it's good to be able to feel your base energy, your own energy. It's important. It's key, because not just with cluster B shit, but like just whether it's anxiety, depression, anhedonia, whether you're overexcited or you're completely you never feel horny at all. Some people, you're so depressed, so out of your mind with loneliness or the daily stress that you don't recognize that plant medicine's an aphrodisiac. That one in particular that I was addicted to, that I'm high right now, it's an aphrodisiac. So I have to be very careful. That's been my weakness in the past. So it's just, and then as soon as I get high, I see this really, really good looking melanin rich woman and this beautiful, I don't know, woman like about maybe half my age, and this beautiful, full grown woman barely in this beautiful like outfit, saying hi back to me. And it's like, well, see, there's a reason why that strain is called Girl Scout cookies, man, because you see, the cannabis also, it can dial you into a frequency of the divine goddess Christ Sophia. So it's probably the only reason why I would have, the problem I had in my early 30s is it was another part of facet to this sexual perversion we call rub-a-dub, unless it's your steady girl or whatever, like if you're kind of devoted hierogamic partner, that's different, man. You like Isaac sent me that picture of him and his girlfriend at the rave, like Instagram. I wanted to get in touch with my old friend. The only way I could figure out how to do it was to finally join Instagram. I don't even put anything on. You know how much I do social media? I don't do anything but the video platforms, YouTube, Rumble, Odyssey, BitChute, because I don't like normal, aside from the video platforms, I don't like social media, man. It's just, yeah. I got all this. You got my ex is Trey's X marks, and I didn't even put a link to it on the. I'm gonna put a link to it because I don't know. It's just same problem I have with Rumble. Is it when you look at and you have these guys in the White House in charge of it, and they just have, I don't know. It's a different kind of censorship. It's like. And then you have Peter Thiel as the second. It's hard to say whether DJT or Peter Thiel is the biggest funder. So if they see that, if their censors are watching this, it might make them want to show this to like 0 or 1 people. Like some of my videos on there have like 0 or 1 views, and it might be because of that. I mean, it might be the kind of censorship you're facing there, man, as you talk about stuff like that, and But it just kind of depends on what I talk about. It's the way they all are, man. It's their, my sibling said, his YouTube is he pays for the ad-free YouTube. I mean, I wouldn't do that, but he said they're still the king, and if they can make the rules, Google, YouTube can make the rules, and they're the king. And yeah, I it's hard for me not to resent and want to reject that hierarchy or tell it off or just. I work really hard and I give it out, and I really want you to enjoy some of my other videos and realize that I have a lot of wisdom and healing techniques to offer you on this channel. I have a lot to offer you, and to make peace with the beast, the algorithm beast itself. I want to say, watch more of my videos after this, because for one thing, not just for that reason, but because you will learn more. Inevitably, invariably, you're going to learn more sacred divine gnosis and wisdom and healing teachings. And what are you going to do with this meat suit to get it healed if it's not, or your mind, to take your mind back from the Archon parasites? I mean, I've got over 555 videos where I'm reminding you, hey, man, you know what? You got to take your mind back from the filth, man. That filthy stream of archontic introjects, stream of derogatory trash they call, the prince of the airwaves, the devil's thoughts streaming through your head is not who you really are. No, the true you, if you're an original essence, or if you're what the Gnostics called a pneumatic soul, then you have a fragment or a ray or an enlightened light ball or whatever of the divine Christos, the Namulu human race, the spiritual human that has respect for life, the real living original humans before are master, money master, mind control master, endless war, masters of mind flunk, group think, hive mind, soul-sucking, archontic vampirism with their expertise in controlling and destroying everything arrived on this place. Okay? And the only way for you to remember the true essence is to do that inner, as it's called, the inner work or the shadow work, to take back your soul from the dungeons of psychological hell, because there's forces, there's beings all around you in flesh sacks in on the YouTube and the Rumble and the mainstream media and the newspapers and the magazines and the books to influence you to go back to the dark side, to think it's cool, to think it's cool to be retarded or manipulative, and movies and lots of Hollywood, all the Hollywood stuff is there to remind you to be manipulative and retarded and act just like Lucifer 4, the devil, tells you, man, it's cool. Bruce Jenner, go all the way out to be as self-abusive, or believe these lies that you could be born in the wrong suit, all that. It's just believe what you're told and see where it gets you, because it doesn't take us too far in our awakening journey and our escape and our ability to transcend the filthiness of this psychological matrix hell realm, to identify with it, but to recognize it for what it is. And yeah, I do fucking compliment the Archon parasites and the devil for their fucking prowess skills, of their torture skills. Like, I almost, they tried to get me to set this huge patch of hay on fire today, right after I get... Oh yeah, so I don't even think I finished the story on that, because that's one of the... I don't know if I got too much into the downsides of ganja beside addiction itself, and that's that it'll make you short-term memory loss, or make you stop in the middle of something, or spaz out, make you sound like a space cadet in your conversation. So yeah, what happened is that my phone was screaming yesterday that I'm ordered by the Kern County sheriffs to evacuate this place right now. And I'm like, what the fuck? But then it said I was kind of worried about it, and stupidly, again, because I was sober, went out and talked to this other guy about it, and he kind of calmed me down a little bit. And you might could say I got to let the Archon get in a little bit in that moment, and so then I typed in the coordinates it gave, and I asked Google Gemini, I told Google Gemini the coordinates, and it said it was these parts of Bakersfield or Kern County that's up in the mountains, man, not here, but up in the mountains, where they have a wild hot spring, one or two still open up there that I want to go get in one of these days soon, and Miracle Hot Spring or this other one. And the thing about ganja or cannabis is that its creative aspects is that it reminds you the creator is within. If you're a creative type person, or even just conversationally, but again, it's kind of you're kind of codependent to the core if you really become a stoner, psychologically speaking, because you might, if you never take tolerance breaks, you might never know that you're way more anxious or depressed, way less horny, way less turned on, way less creative than you think. Because Ganjika, the cannabis spirit, is a very creative spirit, man. And you really have to honor that and respect it. But it's a really great tool for artists, musicians, obviously, But again, it's almost foundational in a psychological hell realm for a lot of folks, especially if you have addictive personality or you're muggle womb, because you need to connect with the Holy Ghost, and the implants that the devil put in your head are so profound that you start to feel like a fucking solipsist. You start to feel so insecure when you really look at how evil this world is. socially speaking, in the fake ass culture, and the evilness of the government, and the what people believe in, the violent religions and all that. And it's like, but when you're stoned or you're a little, even a buzz on ganja, if it's outdoor organic in particular, if the growers weren't paranoid, which is important to me, that empathic person, that you can feel their energy of it, and that it can increase your tendency to feel the oneness, to feel relaxed and respectful even. So if you're going to toke with joy, with reverence, with peace, when you have moments to take her easy, to be decent to yourself rather than cruel. It's good for that, I feel, but don't get lost. Don't get lost in that fantasy. I mean, she really knows how to take care of herself as a plant. She knows, as a plant, she knows how to reproduce herself, man. She's so sexy and creative. She knows, and relaxing and hypnotical and relaxing, that she knows how to reproduce herself so well, man. But she doesn't do it like a fucking narcissist, really. I mean, you might think it can be a horrific thing, honestly, I could say. Horrific to have your weed, your cannabis grower or dealer, hash smusher, be a narcissist psychopath. I could tell a story now, but this video is getting a little bit long. And, yeah, I contradicted them 15 years ago, and they'll never forgive me, and they talk shit about me ever since. Just because they said they were trying to give me indica and say it was sativa. Because back in the day, that was all I wanted, man, in my early 30s, to get over my depression. I was pretty hardcore. I was a pretty hardcore blockhead back in those days, man. I was programmed by the sexual side of the Archon. I was pretty, childish. Boy, man. And I still am. But, you get older and you lose those hormones, some of the hormones, it's without a sexual partner, it's very easy for a male even to go into periandropause after 48 and a half solar returns, because plus, like, the sexual magic practice is, it can render a person, you can just feel like, well, I'm okay, I don't need. And that's when you really are more likely to find an interesting partner anyways, if you really don't. But that neediness, I just commented on this Mama Psychic Actville's video about that Trey Anastasio, that song Julius, and he says, when reaching just pushes it further away now, with your past and your future precisely divided. So yeah, it's a lot of fun, but you gotta be careful, son. You gotta be careful, girl. You gotta take care fully. I would always say prayers, of respect, thanks, before every hit, actually. And so I've always felt reverence is an important facet to that, and as much as you could put in your existence to have reverence is important. So you could call this Ganja church, but yeah, it's not I feel like I liberated myself from the addiction, and I'm thankful for that. And but at the same time, I do have the reverence, and I will say that you have to have respect for any plant medicines you use. Anything you put in your body, ideally, would be organic, and you respect, or even like ideally not killed, or the chickens or the milk animals not treated with respect while you steal their milk and their eggs, all that. It makes a difference. It really does, man. I could feel it. When the animals aren't respected, it can make the milk fuck. I mean, it could be some really good raw milk in it, especially if they got vaccinated as babies, but just, man, it can make it bad. But if there's respect, if there's love, there's care, it's just like with your domesticated animals, you can feel that energy, And so those chickens that are eating all those flax seeds give my Judy's eggs a lot of omega-3s, you know. And so when you can feel it, it's he that feels it knows it. It's just the way we're designed. And so yeah, it's easy to say it's a trick to get you trapped on the wheel of samsara, that if these archonic parasites that pretend to be God can't trick you back into forcing you to agree to the memory wipe, or but to reincarnate again. They will simply tell you, if you're a stoner, hey, you got to go back to get high, man. You got to go back and have another life and have more babies and do more brilliant creative things and get high, have a lot of kids, and be creative in every way and all that. And they'll convince you, or just the psychological addiction itself. So that's, to me, is the dark side of ganja, man, is that if you're any kind of addiction, just mental addiction, psychological addiction, that thing is controlling you, man. It's it controlled me for decades. And I asked myself, my Pisces moon, I asked myself, why would I allow this? Or even just coffee now, just coffee every single day. I'll have coffee, 2 coffees a day. Is it controlling me? I mean, Don Juan didn't even drink that. It's really interesting when you look at it. But yeah, I hope you actually do respect yourself and create a great one when you can, or when maybe if you need to get that ganja or that woman that inspires you, but maybe just through meditation, if you want to be creative and you don't have any other means, I'd say meditation can help you be creative, and remember to respect. And especially if you play with cannabis. Take care, folks.